Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be ranking the best beginner cycles there is out there. If you want to know what cycle you should run, then you should watch this video because I'm going to be going over everything that you've probably heard online and ranking it based on real life experience and first-hand experience with dozens of my clients. Starting off with cycle number 1, testosterone and anavar. I'm going to give this cycle right here a good B tier. Now, a lot of people will get mad at me for this and will leave hate comments down below, but anavar is for women. Anavar is not for real men. Yes, it's a relatively safe compound and it may get you some results, but for a first cycle, you should not be touching orals. You know why? They only create a cosmetic look and they damage the internals of your body more than anything else. And when you're first getting on gear, what do you want? You don't want side effects. You want lean muscle gains. So we don't need any anavar. Yeah, you can go ahead and run it. Be my fucking guest, man. But guess what? As soon as you come off, you're gonna go back to looking just like you did before you ever took it. Where if we take something like testosterone or equipoise or primo, that will actually put on real size that's gonna stick with you for a long period of time. And I also just say to myself, like, why can women take anavar? It's like the only anabolic out there that women can take. Of course, they can take more, but most of them take that. I don't want to be taking anavar if they're taking it. No. So yeah, I'll use a little bit here and there, and I've used it in my past, but it's nothing phenomenal. It's nothing crazy. I'll be quite honest with you. I think there's way better beginner cycles out there than testosterone and anavar. Cycle number 2, testosterone and equipoise. This right here, in my personal opinion, is going to be an A tier stack. Why? When you're first getting on, you don't really know how you respond to things. Testosterone's testosterone, and EQ is also a testosterone derivative. There's a couple different trees of anabolics. There's DHT, dihydrotestosterones, testosterone derivatives, and then nandrolones. You want to stay away from nandrolones for a little. DHT is pretty cool. Testosterone derivatives, they go well with your body because testosterone's natural. A derivative is just a little bit different. And EQ is something that's also FDA approved. Not saying that it's going to be good for you, but I am saying it has gone through trials and it is relatively safe, besides just increasing your red blood cell count when you run it for a long period of time. Now, I like EQ because it's relatively safe, like I said, but it's also going to add on a shit ton of size, get you more hungry, get you more vascular, increase your endurance. That's why I love it for the first cycle, because like, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to get big. By getting big, we'll also get lean. The more muscle you put on, the more fat you're going to burn. So I really like EQ because it doesn't really come with any sides besides just increasing your red blood cell count, unless you're running like grams of it, and that's pretty easy to take care of. Drink your water, do your cardio, get your blood drawn, go donate some blood every 3 months. You'll be fine on that. This was my first cycle, and this is the first cycle I put most of my clients on as well. Next up, we have testosterone and primobolan. This is also an A tier cycle. Now, the only thing here though is your primo real? Because a lot of people are actually just doing testosterone and testosterone cycles when they're running testosterone and primobolan cycles. It's heavily faked. It's very expensive as well. So I would rather take primo actually over EQ all day. It's relatively safe, just like EQ is. Matter of fact, in my opinion, it's a little bit better. It's a DHT. Makes you feel a little bit better, look a little bit better, put on a little bit more muscle. But here's the thing. It's really expensive and oftentimes it's fake. But if you can get your hands on some real primo, this stuff right here is really what the pros are using, in my personal opinion. The people with the dope physiques, this is what they're using. They're using primobolan. Okay, EQ as well. EQ is kind of like the cheap man's version of primobolan. But if you can get your hands on some real primo, this stuff is fire right here. So I'll place it at A tier because once again, the side effect profile, relatively safe. It's also not going to increase your red blood cell count like EQ would. Now, is it DHT, which can also lead to possibly some hair shedding, possibly some acne sometimes for guys. Any of these things can lead to acne though. So beware that it is going to increase your DHT levels. So if you're very prone to hair loss, you may see a little bit more shedding on primobolan versus something like equipoise, by the way. But I love this. Typically, I'm running primobolan in the bulks, but also when I'm finishing off my bulks, getting into cuts and starting my cuts. Then eventually switch over to masteron. That's a little bit more tricky. And with that being said, testosterone and masteron for your first cycle. I'm going to place this B tier. I don't think people should be hopping on masteron right away because masteron's a little bit stronger. It has a little bit stronger of a side effect profile, and yeah, it will get you looking sick. It's an amazing compound all day. But as a beginner, I wouldn't be getting right on mass because you probably are not going to know how to deal with the side effects effects of masteron. Your hair is going to shed a whole bunch more than anything else, and you're going to deal with a whole influx of DHC, which can bring a whole different side effect profile than a lot of these other compounds. And so I like to start off with the compounds that are just easy to use. They're like plug and play pretty much. Primobolan, equipoise, testosterone. On the other hand, masteron, you can't run it as long. It's not as safe. You can run it maybe 8 to 12 weeks. Yes, you can run it longer, but I don't recommend it, nor do you really need it. Masteron is a hardening agent. It gives you a good look. This is something you would kind of finish up a cut with. And most people getting on their first cycle should be trying to bulk and put on a shit ton of size, because you will never, ever, ever respond to that cycle like that ever again. So we want to be using our first cycle to put on as much mass as possible. Your second one, testosterone and masteron, may make complete sense. Testosterone and trenbolone sandwiches. D tier all day. You would have to be a complete dumbass to do testosterone and trenbolone for your first cycle. Tren is the most neurologically toxic compound there is. It will fuck with your mind, and you may not even know it. That's the thing that Tren will do. If you've never done Tren before, that first cycle, it is gonna fuck with you, and you're not gonna realize it until you get off it, and that's the worst part about it. So I would first off recommend like giving time, and then making sure you have people around you, like a coach, to check in on you when you're running your first Tren cycle, because you may think you're being completely fine, but everyone outside of you thinks you're a complete dickhead. Your girlfriend's ready to break up with you. Your parents are ready to fucking say fuck off or throw you out the house or never talk to you again. Your coworkers are ready to tell your boss and fire you. A lot of shit can fucking happen on this, okay? It will ruin your social life most of the time, and you won't even know it, because you'll feel like God and you'll feel amazing. But also with Tren, bunch of side effects, most toxic compound there is. You got to be careful with that. I wouldn't touch that till way later down the road. Matter of fact, most people don't even need to be touching that. Yes, it can be amazing for getting a sick look and recomping your body, but most people just should not put their health at that risk unless they're getting paid big bucks or doing something great with that. So it's a D tier cycle all day. Definitely don't run test and Tren for your first cycle. Next, we have testosterone only. This right here is S tier. This is where everybody should be starting, matter of fact. Everybody should start with testosterone, 200 to 250 milligrams for 4 to 6 months. This is where I personally started. It was 250 milligrams a test for 6 months. I went from 155 to 195 pounds in those 6 months on testosterone alone. And I see a lot of people jumping on multiple compounds in the first 6 months of becoming enhanced, and it's the dumbest thing ever, because you can get so much out of so little if you do the things correctly. Or I've seen other guys, they're running a whole big blast of stuff and they've only gained 15 pounds of size. And that's just embarrassing to me, because you're putting your health at risk to get less results, when we could just run testosterone for 4 to 6 months, really focus and nail down the basics, and possibly gain up to 30 pounds of lean mass in those 6 months. That is the best way to go. And like when you're first getting on, you don't know how your body's going to respond, right? We got to figure that out first. So let's start off with testosterone, which is bioidentical to what you already have in your body, instead of throwing these other things in that aren't really bioidentical, and that starts to change a whole bunch. Everybody should be starting at testosterone alone. Next up, we have testosterone and growth hormone paired together. This is also S tier as well, because the growth hormone does not come with side effects like other anabolics do. Growth hormone is absolutely phenomenal, and growth hormone is something that I wish I would have hopped on way sooner in my journey, because even 2 IUs alone can completely change your life. Better sleep, better hair, better nails, better recovery, better youthfulness, better energy, better all around. Growth hormone is amazing, even at low dosages. But you also get so much more out of the anabolics you are running with growth hormone, because anabolics pretty much juice up the cell size, while growth hormone helps that cell actually replicate faster, duplicate faster. And so you get both effects going on, testosterone and growth hormone. This is the best way to get big. Just beware of your insulin sensitivity going to shit while running GH. You need to start this out lean first off, with your insulin sensitivity primed. If you started out at a high percent body fat, if you started out and your blood sugar's over 100 in the morning, it's just going to make things worse. Lastly, we have testosterone and peptides. Now, there's a whole bunch of peptides out there. I'm just pretty much categorizing these as you're going to hop on tests and you're going to hop on peps. This right here is an S tier cycle as well, because peptides, they're bioidentical pretty much. They're short chains of amino acids that your body already makes. And when you do them right, you're simply just optimizing your body. You're fixing little holes. You're fixing your metabolic system. You're fixing your circadian rhythm. You're fixing all these different things, and you're just getting your body to the most optimized spot it can be. And you're doing the same with tests. If you're not abusing tests, like going way over, like yes, 250 is abuse, but let's be honest, like 250 in regards to like what other people, it's still relatively relatively healthy, okay? I think a little bit of test and a little bit of peps can go a far way. Man, you got 80 pounds to lose, a little bit of test, a little bit of peps can help you out. Man, you try to build some muscle, you try to improve your life all around, a little bit of test, a little bit of peps can definitely help you out. You don't need to touch these other things to make massive progress. Matter of fact, I'm doing so amazing right now on my bulk with just test, peps, and GH. That's all I'm running. Testosterone, a good peptide stack to help my insulin sensitivity, help out my sleep, help out my hunger management, help out my workouts, and a little bit of GH to do same thing, recovery, pumps, etc. And I'm growing like a weed. I feel great. It's the best I've ever looked. It's the best I've ever felt as well while growing as well. So those are some of my favorite things: testosterone, peps, and GH. The other stuff, yes, it adds to it and it can help you out a lot, but it does come with more side effects than things like this. And look, guys, one pep that has absolutely changed my life is GHKCU. I get this from Handsome Labs. This has helped me overcome a lot of acne I struggle with, helped me feel better, helped me look better, reduce my inflammation. If you don't know, GHKCU copper is a copper peptide, and pretty much copper helps regulate your body, regulate your gene expression, bring good genes up, bring bad genes down. It has a whole wide variety of benefits, and the reason they call this the handsome peptide is because it actually makes you healthier on the inside, which makes you healthier looking on the outside. One of my favorite peps, I have a whole bunch that I love. I get mine from Handsome Labs. These are the most handsome peptides that are out there for your research purposes. If you're experimenting on your rats and you want to get them handsome, shop at Handsome Labs. Link in the description, code RLJ at checkout for discounts. Now we got one last cycle to rank, and that's going to be testosterone and NPP or deca. For me, this right here is a D tier cycle stack as well. Nandrolones, they come with a whole laundry list of side effects as well. They can be great for putting on size fast all day. NPP, deca, that shit can put 10, 15 pounds of pretty much water though on you very quick. And easy come, easy go. Also, faster results typically equals faster side effects. I do not recommend anybody touching nandrolones until multiple years into using anything at all, because you need to understand your body. You need to be prepared, and there's way better things to use with a way less side effect profile than nandrolones, and you don't really need to touch them until you're a couple years into this or a couple cycles into this, to be completely honest. I still have not touched NPP deca. I've only touched a little bit of trend for my bodybuilding competitions, and I don't really plan on touching these things because they just come with a whole list of side effects. I'd rather use something else that's more healthy and take my time and be more patient. I don't recommend anybody touching NPP or deca, or especially trend, for one of their first cycles. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is every beginner cycle ranked from S tier all the way to D tier, and I hope it provided you some value and helped you figure out what are the next steps for yourself from my experience and what I've seen in my clients as well. Now, if you need more information on this stuff, you should not be doing this based on what Reddit says or what he or she says on TikTok online, because you're going to be lost and you're probably just going to be doing what works for somebody else. So I put together an entire enhancement community. There's a link in the description to that. It's on school.com that teaches you everything you need to know about this stuff and help you choose what's best for you, not just what's best for me or for other people, and understand everything that can come along with doing these things and how to stay healthy. We have an entire health stack protocol. We have all these different modules on how to control everything: estrogen, prolactin, hair loss, fertility, etc. Everything you could imagine, we have a protocol for it. And you can also message me one-on-one in there in case you have specific questions. This is the closest you can get to one-on-one coaching, which is a bit more expensive. The school's only $50 a month. And if you don't have $50 to make sure you're doing things right and to take care of yourself and also to get good sourcing, I don't know what to tell you. Link in the description, go sign up. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I'll catch you in the next tier list ranking video. Matter of fact, let me know what one you want to see in the comments below. Peace.